I'm Anna Julian, and Semper Fi has worked on several projects for me at my home. Probably about 3 years ago, I started working with them because I had an old family home that meant a lot to me that needed some significant work. And as a result, we started a 2-phase project where we worked on re-siding the house, insulating the house, taking away all of the old insulation and different kinds of siding, and really giving it a new look from the outside, as well as closing it up, securing it, insulating it in the first phase, as well as adding temperature control, HVAC, and when we wrapped that up, they worked on a second phase of the project and helped me renovate and provide a new full bathroom in the upstairs second floor of the house. When I started looking for a contractor or a service to help me with the renovations on my home, I had a few concerns. One was someone that I could trust. Second, someone that had a great track record and I knew would follow through and complete the work. And not last, but probably the most important, was I really wanted to preserve the look and feel of the family home. It's a log cabin. It's not your typical structure. Nothing in that house is level or straight. And I wanted to maintain the log cabin feel, as well as making sure that it hit all the requirements to be temperature controlled, not have too much weight on the old structure and foundation of the house. And they really helped me to upgrade the home to have some modern features that you get with new homes, like temperature control, moisture control. They really helped me to do that and still maintain the traditional and the homey feeling to me that made it still feel like that old family home that I've had my entire life. Before I spoke with Semper Fi, I got to Semper Fi by talking to local folks in the community. I got a few names of contractors, and I couldn't find many that still existed. We're still taking new clients that were finishing their work, and really Semper Fi was the one that ticked all those boxes. Came with very good references from folks that they had done work for before in the area, and that's how I landed on Semper Fi. Well, and meeting them right away, I clicked and had a great experience with my salesperson, with my project manager, and with the staff, and really that was what sold me on Semper Fi. So I started this process speaking with Semper Fi with, I believe he was a salesperson, but really he was the person that came out and did lots of ideation with me and talked through the possibilities, really the art of the possible, looking at the bones of the old house and talking about what we could do. And it really meant a lot to me that he was willing to listen to what was important to me, what my priorities were in the final project, what was going to be done, and then figure out solutions about how to get there. So I talked to the salesperson first. He may have come out a couple of times actually, and then he really took away my requirements, worked with the staff, the project manager, some of the folks behind the scenes at Semper Fi to come back to me with a proposal that we reviewed once or twice just to make sure it had all of my requirements in it, as I guess, in product success factors, like things that would be delivered. And then we iterated on it until we got to a price point that I could work with my budget. I came in the office and met all of the folks behind the quotes. We talked about options and possibilities, sometimes things we might take out, put in to meet my budget requirements. And then it was managed with open communication and lots of visibility all the way through the process. And really, everyone listened to my concerns, especially my project manager. He was fantastic. And he saw it all the way through to the last punch list, the last few items that remained, he made sure those were all taken care of until the job was complete. The biggest surprise about the final product, I had 2 phases. In the first phase for the outside of the home, the siding, the temperature control, I think one was that the siding that we finally selected really did keep the aesthetic look of the home. Most of my friends and family that drove by really thought we had replaced the outside with, a new set of wooden logs, and it was aluminum siding, but it was great because it met all my other requirements for fire suppression and things like that. But everybody just looked at it and thought it looked great from the outside, as did I. I think the biggest surprise still from the first phase was, though, the difference that all of the insulation, the wrapping, the moisture control, and the temperature control, it's still a surprise to me today every time I come back to the house that the house feels dry inside for the first time since it was built, that there's not a musty smell, there's not, it's just great. You can come in and it feels like you're in a modern home when you're not. You're in a house that's almost 100 years old after all of these improvements. So that was the biggest surprise that continues to surprise and thrill us every time we come back to the house. And then with the second phase, my entire life, the upstairs of this home had a half bath tucked under, it was a full bath with a clawfoot tub tucked under the eaves of a roof that no one would ever use. No one used that bathtub. So it really limited the use of the home because people would stay upstairs, but there was not a full bathroom, not a shower available. So that is still, the finished bathroom it's a conversation piece. They worked with me to fit it into the unique space that I had, which most people would look at and say, you're never going to get a full bathroom in there. But they helped me make that work, and it's really made the use of the home more complete because now we can really use the 2 extra bedrooms upstairs and have guests that we really felt like we didn't have room for before. I would absolutely recommend Semper Fi to friends and my family. I've had a great experience from beginning to end. I would just tell them that they listen. They will be creative with you on the solutions and also on how to phase the project so that you can fit it into your budget. And the follow through is like no other vendor I've had. They've made sure every detail was taken care of. And sometimes it was in creative ways to make sure we got what we needed or what we wanted to see, but they made sure that they were accountable and finished the job. I would say one of the things that makes Semper Fi stand out above other remodelers and contractors and vendors that I've worked with before was really my project manager. He owned my project, among others, but he was always there to answer questions, made sure that my needs and my concerns, he was listening to them and taking care of them. And I think that in other jobs, I have not had a project manager that was so in tune with my needs and listened and just made sure they followed through. From the customer's experience, the best thing about working with Semper Fi really is that they listen to my needs and my requirements, and they help me to find a balance between the two that I could afford. It was balance. It's taking all of those factors into account because you can listen, you can provide solutions, but if they're not affordable or they don't fit in your timing, then it still doesn't work. So I think it was balancing all of those things, really listening, asking great questions, and figuring out how to make that work with my budget. It was balancing all those things. My experience with the Semper Fi culture has been one of over-the-top customer experience, just making sure all of the customer needs are taken care of, really listening to what I needed, making sure that they were all taken care of, but I think they also have fun along the way. They're very laid back, but still accountable, very approachable, and always open to me reaching out, always listening. I was never made to feel like I was bothering anybody. Like, so it was always an open door, very transparent and visible experience with any of the staff. I think one thing that really makes Semper Fi unique is they're willing to take on those projects with old homes that some folks don't want to touch. Some vendors, some contractors are anxious about taking on a project that they haven't been involved with from the start, and this was unique. And really one of the selling points was that Semper Fi talks about they will help you take your old home, the one that means a lot to you. It's sentimental, it's, you know, it's something you want to preserve, and they'll figure out how to help you accomplish your goals.